It's always a pleasure to have NFL Network's Rich Eisen on the official podcast. What do you think about the Jets heading into the 2023 offseason?
Get out of here. What a loaded question. What do I think?
Yeah.
I think the Jets would have 2 Offensive Rookie of the Year candidates to try and win the award tomorrow night here if Breece Hall hadn't blown his knee out, had Elijah Vera Tucker not blown his arm out. We would have definitely, let's put it this way, we would have definitely seen a touchdown in the last 3 weeks from the offense this year. And, the Jets, I think, would have made the playoffs. It's everyone has injuries. I understand that. The Jets had particularly tough ones to take. And then the question about, is Zach Wilson the guy? I'm a little bit disappointed and thrown that here we are going to be entering year 3, and the question, is he the guy, is out there. So I love the coach, love the defense, love some of these playmakers that they have on offense, and I just hope the Triggerman's the right guy.
Triggerman. Robert Saleh said after the season the Jets are committed to finding a veteran quarterback.
For what? For who? That's the question, is like to compete for the job, like literally go into training camp and say you can win it, vet, against a third-year guy who he's most likely going to beat out? Or is it somebody who can guide Zach in a way that Flacco didn't? I don't understand what that means. So I'm hoping, again, if it is, in fact, it's going to be Zach Wilson, that whatever Nathaniel Hackett can bring to the equation is going to be the difference maker, that he will be able to unlock Zach with an offense and a way about him to reach Wilson in a way that can turn on the talent that we clearly saw on tape from BYU.
What of the names that are potentially being floated out there that are going to be available once the league year hits? Is there anybody that you have your eye on that says, you know what, that would make sense for this organization at this time?
I don't know. I mean, the one that to me does make sense for the organization more than anything else would be Garoppolo. That, if they do want to run an offense, obviously LaFleur is no longer there, but if they want to run an offense similar to that, get a guy who's done it, and get a guy who's done it in the AFC East, who's done it, and go to battle with him. He strikes me as somebody that could do it. His problem is his durability. He just can't play a full season. Would Derek Carr work in New York City? I don't know. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would want to follow the path of Favre. And I don't know if he'd want to come to New York. I don't know if that is something that he would want to, endeavor, because it is. I just don't know if the Jets are a fit for him. Quite frankly, I don't know. Geno Smith, I don't think is going to be available. But I think of all of them, Garoppolo might be the best fit.
What do you think about the addition of Hackett? You mentioned before.
I think. Look, I throw out what happened last year.
Right.
I mean, if he's not coming to be a head coach. So if he's not coming to be a head coach, then and he's coming to be the offensive coordinator, that's different than the position that he was put in last year. So I'm not going to look at last year and say he's less than of a coach because of what happened when he was the HC in Denver. I think what Saleh said when he was hired, when Hackett was hired, is spot on, that he is an incredibly respected offensive mind who has levels of success from Aaron Rodgers to Blake Bortles in Jacksonville. That team was one well-thrown, well-defensed pass in Stephon Gilmore's direction away from making the Super Bowl, beating New England in New England. So let's get the offensive coordinator who almost beat New England in New England, bring him in, and make this decision at quarterback. That is going to be a huge one for sure. So I kind of like the hire of Nathaniel Hackett. I like it. And he's an incredibly positive and sunny disposition person.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what maybe the Jets will need in that locker room for the offensive side of the ball. And again, the defense, but the defense is ready to go. I'm so excited about the defense. And I also love Garrett Wilson. I love his passion, his accountability. And I just, how he doesn't accept losing. He's only known winning from his collegiate days. I love him. And I think they've got the right mix of people. I just wish I knew if the quarterback was the right guy.
How incredible was it what Wilson was able to accomplish in year one, considering what was happening at quarterback?
Oh
he sets a reception record for the Jets, the rookies. Sets receiving.
He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good, man. Brees Hall, I mean.
And he's an Ohio State guy.
I know, but that, and I've obviously, me being a Michigan guy, I think that counts for a lot. He's used to winning, and he's used to being from a program that's it's all about winning. And so he doesn't know about this sort of same old Jets nonsense. I love him. I think he's great. I love Sauce, Quinnen Williams. I love the guys they have in this locker room. I think it's a really good mix. I like it a lot. And Brees Hall is just, my gosh, the way he would turn a corner, the way he hit a crease. I just hope that's the same guy who comes back from that knee injury. And if it is, look out, man. That's a comeback player of the year for 2023. That is I'll say it. He's an MVP type player. I mean, the stuff that I saw out of him was Jonathan Taylor plus. When he was he was just beating up everybody, and it didn't matter. You know what I mean? He was the way he would run route. He's a terrific route runner. He is just really, an incredible slashing running back who is tough to tackle. I just wish he had gotten up in Denver, man. I still can't believe that happened.
He was averaging 6.88 yards a pop.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Just so dynamite to watch, and he got me off the couch in ways that I hadn't been getting off the couch watching the Jets in a long time. And I'm just knocking on wood. The rehab's apparently going really well, ahead of schedule, all the stuff that you need to hear. He comes back, then that will significantly impact the quarterback situation, one would think. So let's go. He fires me up.
You're a Staten Island guy.
I am.
What do you think about Sauce, though, his fit in New York?
Love
Not
it.
just how
Love it.
great he is on the field, but the swagger. That
when I saw him at the when I saw him at the Combine, and he was walking through the NFL Network sort of car wash that we have set up where the prospects come in and they walk through like this lighted tube where we hit them with confetti and they they pose for the camera, and that's the stuff we show going a commercial break during our Combine coverage. And then they also take photographs, and they also do this, that, the other thing. I was leaving that area when Sauce walked in, and I saw him. I saw the way he was talking to other people. I heard about him. And I saw him reach for something on the table, and I saw the wingspan in person. I'm like, oh my God! And then I watched him work out on the field, and I walked out of there saying, I'm going to go on my show the next day, the next week, and say that's the guy the Jets need to draft with their first overall pick. And I pounded that table, and I couldn't have been more thrilled to hear his name get called. He is a generationally talented guy. You don't just come out of the box and be first team All-Pro just because you play in New York. You don't. I mean, it doesn't matter. He is really special. He is really good. He's a culture changer on the field, in the locker room. And again, the Jets have some really special players. Quinnen Williams, him, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Brees Hall, just to name 5. They're really good. And they're at different positions that you need to have locked down. Quinnen Williams is, again, another all-pro who's a difference maker. And Vera Tucker, I think, is superb. I mean, again, not to revisit the same thing. Him and Brees Hall going down in the same day it's absurd. It's, unfortunate.
I think there are good days ahead.
I hope so.
How much did you enjoy being the voice of Flight 2022
I loved it
last year?
I was so psyched that they reached out to me to do that. My own little Hard Knocks foray. I loved it. I'd do it again.
Maybe,
for sure.
Maybe we'll have some future
Flight 23?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? Rich Eisen.
I'll be at the gate.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it, man.
The official podcast is presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. Eric Allen here. We're taping at the Super Bowl. I'm joined by Matt Sims' brother, Chris Sims, of course, of Pro Football Talk. Thanks for joining us.
No problem, man. Good to be here. We'll talk a little Jets football. Jets, Jets.
So as we hit the offseason for the Jets, the key question right now is quarterback.
Yeah, sure.
Okay? Robert Saleh was clear about it. Jets want to go out and obtain a veteran quarterback.
Right.
In your eyes, who makes the most sense for this team?
Well, I mean, listen, I know we all look at Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, that'd be a guy. You are a Jets football team that I think is ready right now. So from that standpoint, it makes sense, but it's also risky. So that would be the first thing I would say. I mean, one, you're going to have to trade away a lot of things and give a guy a lot of money, and you don't really know how long you're going to get him for, right? So you could be right back in the boat next year, or depending how they feel about Zach Wilson and all of that, to where, all right, we might need a quarterback. It is going to be a compensation there, and I don't know how long you get him. Right. The other guy that I think that jumps out to me more in a not necessarily realistic, but not having to give up the farm to get him is Derek Carr. I think that's the next guy that it would be the makes the most sense, and maybe makes more sense than even Aaron Rodgers. If you just want to go, wait, we need a guy that's going to come in, run the offense, play good football, not add drama to the locker room and all that. That's where the Jets are certainly a place I would look at if I was Derek Carr.
How close are the Jets to being a team in the postseason? We saw them start 7-4 this year.
Sure, they're there. Their talent level was a playoff talent level. So they were a playoff team, and the AFC's tough. So that's the first thing, and then the quarterback situation derailed the football team as well. But when you look at it and you go, wait, offensive line before the injuries, It's good. Right. I'm not going to say top 5 in football, but it's the top half of the league with the potential to be better than that with some of those young guys there. The cast of running backs, the receiver, tight ends. Okay, yeah, tight ends still pretty good. And you got Jeremy Ruckert coming up the pipeline from Ohio State. Mm-hmm. The defense, what is there to talk about on the defense? There's not a position you can even really look at and go, well, they could be a little bit better there. They kind of got everything. So, yes, it's time to go. Now it's just get that quarterback situation right because, hey, you're in a conference, I'm sorry, with Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, and those are the 4 best quarterbacks in football, and they're going to be tough to get by.
What kind of mentality, personality do you have to play in New York and then also play for the Jets?
Right. Well, mental toughness is number one, and being able to, you understand the noise and the scrutiny, but not let it overtake your life. I think there's a reason, let's say guys like Phil Simms, Eli Manning, even Daniel Jones right now a little bit, right? How he weathered the storm. I don't mean to go to Giants guys, right? I'm sorry about that on the Jets podcast here. But I'm just giving examples of, I do think those personalities fit New York, It's just, they won, it's the same face. They lost, it's the same face. They threw a touchdown, it's the same face. They threw an interception, it's the same face. There's never too much ups or downs or riding the media curve of the New York Post and everybody, the Daily News and on the back cover. It takes a guy like that. And that to me is one of the big, components for success at quarterback in New York.
You like the roster. You
I
said
do.
this team is ready to go right now. What do you think about the partnership with Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh? If you are a player, if you are a signal caller looking for potential destinations out there.
I don't know how you wouldn't love it. I mean, Robert Saleh has a way to communicate and motivate the football team and, make everybody feel the pressure with a little hot poker by everybody's butt, but yet they're having fun and they're playing football. And then Joe Douglas, for my money, has been one of the best GMs in the sport the last few years. Just the way he flipped over that team, the quality of the team we're seeing right now. I mean, there's only one area you can look at and go, we could dissect that a little bit. I would not have pulled Zach Wilson when they did this year. I know they know more than me, but that is the part of the team or the organization right now that, yes, is unsettled. And, Zach kind of went the wrong way there a little bit this year. There's no denying that. I'm still a believer in him. But, yeah, it's just that situation, getting that right, getting that steady, and the Jets are going to be big time.
So if when the team brings in that veteran quarterback, What would you say to Zach Wilson as far as this offseason entering year 3?
Treat it like you're the starter still. Compete like your ass off, right? Stay true to your mechanics. That would be the thing that I looked at more than anything is we got a little into being loose and throwing the ball like Mahomes and Josh Allen, and I want to just go, there was plays where I was like, what, the pocket was clean. You didn't need to throw this sidearm off your back foot. Just stand in there, get your body in the right position. Be more of a machine first. So I think that's where he's got to get to. You got to, just like a basketball player or a great pitcher, you got to be able to throw strikes in your sleep or knock down the 15-footer in your sleep, right? That's what Patrick Mahomes is. Then it goes to, wait, I can do that in my sleep. Now I can start throwing sidearm and off my back foot and across the field or fadeaway jumpers because I've become right? And that to me is where he kind of went to steps 3 and 4 and skipped over steps 1 and 2, and that's where it seems like it went wrong.
Just going to have a new offensive play caller, Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, love him.
Tell me about him.
I'm a big fan of the Hackett family, so I'm a little biased here. First off, he got an unfair shake out in Denver. A lot of people open this year. You watch my social media. You can see a lot of videos that I put out to go, hey, here's Russell Wilson. People wide open everywhere. I don't know why we're not throwing it. All right? So you can say what you want maybe as a head coach or whatever. The one thing he is great at is, 1, system, tried and true. 2, incredible detail within the system. So everybody's going to be on the same page. That's the one thing I know about the Hackett family. You run a slant route, you're going to run it the exact perfect way against that coverage every time, so the quarterback knows exactly what to expect, because that's how the Joe Montana and Bill Walsh, where Paul Hackett was at one point, makes it work, right? So he's going to really refine things, and then he has a magical way of making the quarterback feel like he's part of this with him. Like, hey, I'm in here. I'm playing with you too. When you throw an interception, I throw an interception, right? And that's where I think he's going to be great, not only for whoever the starter is, but he's going to be great for Zach Wilson.
What about the run game when you look at his stops during his you go back to Buffalo. You go back to Jacksonville.
Right.
You talk about Denver last year. Obviously, they had their struggles, different situation. But
Green Bay before that.
Yeah, over the course of his history, and also the red zone success.
Yeah, well, first off, here's one thing I always think is an amazing thing about his resume. He knows how to run the football. He's going to run the right plays into the right looks. That's where he's going to program the offense and the quarterback always. So they're never going to be wasted plays. That's why guys like Aaron Rodgers love him. Aaron Rodgers knows, wait, when the defense plays this, I'm supposed to throw these plays and run these plays, right? So that's why guys love Nathaniel Hackett. So he's going to have the robot programmed and the offense programmed to go, hey, they're doing this, and we know we want to do this when they do it. And that's where he's going to be special.
Well,
he was the offensive coordinator for Blake Bortles and the Jaguars.
Yeah,
they were the number 6 offensive
game.
If that doesn't say it all, then what do you got to say?
Yeah.
That's to me. So, I think you're going to see balance, too.
I mean, he was having some kind of success with Kyle Orton.
Exactly
at
right.
Buffalo as well.
I know.
All right, so what do you think about some of the pieces offensively? Starting with Breece Hall, we saw him 7 games last year, averaging 6.8 yards a touch.
Right.
You got one of the most versatile offensive linemen in football in Elijah Vera Tucker. And then Garrett Wilson, for what he did production-wise with the quarterback instability, it was just off the charts.
Yeah, no, you got difference makers. You got guys that, to me, that are it's important. The 2 teams you see here in the Super Bowl, it can't always be the system and the offense marking the ball down the field, 12 plays, 80 yards, perfect execution, right? You need some guys that go
home runs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh gosh, we ripped off 40 yards there. You can't always go 12 plays in the NFL. Something bad's going to happen, and that's where Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson are special. They're game changers that way. And gosh, you can even add, Michael Carter, his ability to find explosive plays. Elijah Moore, I think, has that ability. So this is a young team. What I tell all my Jets friends who were absolutely insanely absurd at the end of the year and not realistic, I just was like, everything is great. Okay, the quarterback thing isn't perfect. But damn, I mean, your team we didn't expect them to be as good as they were this year. They're young. There is something to learning to win in the NFL and figuring out the finer details and what it takes there. And I think they got a little bit of a crash course in that this year.
What do you like most about the defense? Is it the defensive line and the numbers they throw at you? They come in waves, or what they've done on the outside in just one calendar year with Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed?
It's this team speed and the ferociousness in which they play. It's the 49ers, of course, right? And of course, I know a lot about the 49ers. My best friend is Kyle Shanahan. I've known Robert Saleh for a while. They have an eye for psychos, and I mean that in the most good way possible. Yeah. Psychos in the fact that they're just like, pedal to the metal, we're coming downhill, we're going to hit you, we're going to grab the ball, and then the next play, we're coming again. And if coach says the next play we have to go run through the brick wall, we'll do it. We won't hesitate. That's what impresses me about the defense. I mean, Quinnen Williams, the step he took this year was phenomenal. He was my second-team All-Pro vote. But I think it's Jordan Whitehead, some of the under the radar guys are what are impressive to me. Quincy Williams. There's guys that the normal outside national media and fan base don't know that I go, man, if you turn on this Jets game, you're going to watch some guys and go, whoa, who the hell is this guy flying around the football field? I think that's what I'm impressed with the most.
How much do you think you're going to be talking about Jets this offseason?
Yeah, too much. Because quarterback. And I can't go 7 minutes without talking about Aaron Rodgers anywhere you go. Right. So as long as he's kind of dangling this out there, it's going to be a lot of that talk.
You mentioned Rodgers. You talked about Derek Carr as well. What's your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo, where he is at this point in his career?
I mean, Jimmy, listen, he's not a superstar. He doesn't, have these. He's not going to be a guy you look at and go, oh, he'll carry the team. And, if we have a few offensive linemen hurt and no running, he'll just get on my back and make plays. No, he's not going to do that. But as you've seen in San Francisco, you give him a system, you have a team around him, he can take it to the Super Bowl. And really, he can win a Super Bowl. Yeah. He can. I mean, again, he lost the Super Bowl. He was up 20-10. He's played one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of football, who made one of the greatest comebacks and runs in the last 6 minutes of the Super Bowl that we've ever seen in our life. So I would be a fan of Jimmy G coming to New York, too.
I really enjoyed speaking with you. Let's go out with this.
Yeah.
How's your brother Matt doing?
He's doing really good. I appreciate that. He's the Jets always will have a special place in Matt's heart. I wish it would have turned out a little bit better there, but we got great respect as the Sims family of the whole Jets organization. He's doing good. He's coaching quarterbacks, college, high school. They're kind of cornering the market in the tri-state area in that department, him and my father. And then he's dabbling in a little sports media himself. So
he's a great locker room guy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Hey, I know you're continuing that yourself with all the relationships you've built inside the business. Continued success.
Thank you, man.
We'll be watching.
Appreciate it. Go Jets. Jets, 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 Jets.
Jets fans, we're in our final push and the clock is ticking. WynnBET is giving you a golden opportunity to win VIP prizes for the 2023 season. The WynnBET Green Room is the most exclusive space at the stadium with all-inclusive food and beverage, lower-level seats, and appearances by Jets legends and celebrities. New Jersey customers, all you need to do is wager at least $100 on WynnBET Sportsbook or Casino. For New York customers, all you need to do is wager at least $100 on WynnBET's Sportsbook. The best part? You get an entry for every $100 you wager.
All right, let's bring in actor Anthony Ramos, who is a monster Jets fan. Should I introduce you from being from New York or being from Brooklyn?
Oh, come on, man. Being from Brooklyn, bro. This is a New York. This is a New York vibe happening right now. So it's Brooklyn.
Yeah, no doubt. Can you talk about your fandom with the Jets? How far back it goes?
I mean, it goes back, to Vinny Testaverde and Curtis Martin and all those guys, man. Like all the way through. Like I made a joke earlier. So I was talking to somebody about when there was like a run when Chad Pennington was the quarterback.
Right.
I knew that the Jets would go to the playoffs every other year.
Yeah.
Like he had this thing where it'd be like they go to the playoffs and then they miss, and then they'd go and then they'd miss.
Well, here it was. Vinny, 2001.
Yeah.
Chad, 2002.
Right.
04.
Yeah.
06.
Right. You see, what I'm saying? So it was like that thing for a while. We had that. So it was those were the years. I mean, that's when I really started to love the Jets, and then then I just followed them since then, man. And I stopped watching all of sports when I went to like school, and then I just came back to it. I was like, I miss sports, and I just started like watching again, yo. So it's like, and I was super excited about this year, man. Especially the start we had, bro. Like,
right.
But obviously Breece Hall going down, and we had some issues at quarterback, but Mike White was really showing some promising signs, man, especially towards the end, and so we'll see. But I feel good, man. I feel good about the team, though, bro. Like that defense is insane.
Went from worse in the National Football League to top 5.
That's what
in
I'm
several
saying.
Categories.
They were keeping us in it, bro.
Yeah.
The whole season, just dominating, bro. And I was like, we just gotta score. But it's easier said than done, right? Like I'm not playing the game, so
Gonna have to work on that throughout the offseason.
Yeah.
Now, you're an actor.
Yeah.
What do you think about some of these guys, them as performers, whether it be a Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson, or you mentioned Breece Hall before? Yeah.
I mean, as performers, like, just, it's really, it's interesting because what they do though is like, I can't even imagine what it's like to have to stay focused and play the game as best as you can, but then like, and then for them to take it to another level, you score a touchdown and you do like a dope dance or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, or you jump into the crowd, and this is just who these guys are, But I think that as performers, I think these guys are extraordinary. First of all, that just from what they do as athletes, and just from them, being, like the fact that Mike White had to come in the way he did, you know what I'm saying? Even in the beginning of the season, where like it was awesome watching Joe Flacco celebrate when he won that first game with the team
in Cleveland.
You know what I'm saying? Like when
30-17,
like it was
155 left.
It was wild, man. Watching, them as performers. It's like the best part about seeing the players is like, it is the performing, it is the touchdown dances, it is the spiking of the ball and stuff like that, and and the hop into the end zone, and you got it. But like also watching the celebration in the locker room, like that one, and just that in and of itself getting me hyped as a fan.
But when you talk to these guys, and you have an opportunity to, we're here taping in Phoenix at Radio Row. Do you talk about the similarities? Like, you're going out there performing in front of folks every night if you're doing Hamilton.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've never. You're actually the first person to ask me that kind of question. Like what are the similarities of those guys as performers to, like, I guess what we do, and and acting and singing and and performing in the way that I do, but like, which is cool. I've never been asked that before, so it's like a question that I've never had to think about before, but I just think what those guys do is so extraordinary, man, that the fact that they have to play like that every week, and
what kind of high does that provide for you, performing live?
Yeah, I think there's nothing like a live crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like I've just singing the national anthem at certain games, like, before, for the Nets or the Mets, I've done, and just like.
Should we get you to come out to do the anthem for the Jets?
Oh, so the Jets, they know, all they got to do is call me.
All
man.
right, we got to do that.
But it's like, it's like that feeling is insane, bro. Like when I was at Citi Field, singing for however many people were there, you're just like, yo, this is Citi Field. We're in the playoffs. Like the vibe is high. It's going crazy right now, and so there's nothing like, we performed for 1,300 people a night, every night, eight shows a week.
So intimate. That's such an intimate setting.
Yeah, but it felt like we were at MSG. The way the crowd was going crazy, and the way people were screaming. I mean, yelling at the top of their lungs. This person would come out, that person would come out, Lynn would come out. So there's and then I got to do my own tour, my first album. I think the craziest two shows I played were in Brooklyn and Chicago. I played a really crazy show in LA too.
Yeah.
But feeling like you know, at my show in Brooklyn, there was 700 people there, and it felt like there was, you know, 7,000, 17,000. It was so loud, bro.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's just nothing like performing for a live audience, you know, and there's that extra added, you know, that's another thing that I respect about the guys, you know, who play the game is like you have to play like there's no one there in front of 30,000 people, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like you gotta play like there's no, like, you know, like there's no one there. And you gotta play your game. And, you know, so that's why I never could understand how people be critiquing athletes. And I'm like, you can't even do half of what they can do. What are you talking about, bro?
Well, you can relate there. Hey, let me ask you this. In the early days of Hamilton, when did you know that, okay, this is not only a good production, but this is taking off and it's just going to another level?
I knew, I mean, you know, when you got Oprah coming and the president's coming twice and, you know, like, you know, the prime minister of this place, and, you know, like Jay-Z and Beyonce, and I mean, like, yo, everybody was coming to the show. Like, once it was already blowing up when we were like off Broadway, but once we went to Broadway, you know, we really started, the word was getting out, and we really started to see some, you know, it was somebody every night.
Yeah.
Somebody's, like,
Right.
people every single night. They're like, yo, these 5 people are here tonight. These 3 people are here. You know, these 10 people are here tonight. You know, the stage would be going crazy after the show. You know, it was like a mixer after the show every single night. You know, so we just perform for 3 hours, and then we go meet this person, and then you got the stage door, the fans waiting outside. You know, so it was a crazy adrenaline-filled experience, man. I mean, I was, you know, 23 at the time. It was my first Broadway show, my only Broadway show. Like, you know, and I knew it was gonna be big.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what that meant, but I didn't know how it was gonna. You know, they sold the movie for, you know, $75 million to Disney Plus. You know, like, it was crazy. They bought that's blockbuster movies and not even shooting for that much now. You know, sometimes. So it was crazy.
You got a monstrous project coming up.
Yeah.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
What are you gonna be doing in that?
I'm the new human guy.
Yeah.
You know, it was Shia LaBeouf and Mark. You know, Mark Wahlberg did it, and you know, now they tapped me for the role, and you know, I'm just super grateful. The cast is amazing. I'm with Dominique Fishback, who's also from Brooklyn, also from New York. Like, you know, Stephen Cable Jr., who did Creed 2, is directing. Michael Bay is producing. Steven Spielberg is executive producing. And, you know, we've got Pete Davidson and Peter Dinklage and Peter Cullen, Ron Perlman, you know, playing Optimus Primal. You know, all these guys, all these, you know, Liza Koshy, all these amazing, you know, stars in around this film, you know. So I'm so excited, man. And for all the fans, you know, anybody who's watched Transformers, you know, I grew up watching Beast Wars as a kid. Yeah. Beast Wars was like my joint. And now, you know, we are now integrating the Beast Wars with the Autobots. And we meet Optimus Primal, we meet Cheetor, we meet all these characters, you know, and we still have Prime and we still have Bumblebee. And now we have Mirage, who's a new character. You know, 1993 Porsche, he's fire. Like, he's like, who's a central character to the story, and we just expand the world. You know, the world starting in New York and moving to Peru, and it just feels like it feels like a Transformers that no one's ever seen before, and it feels like something new and fresh, but still pays homage to, you know, all the other films that came before.
Yeah.
You know.
How fortunate do you feel? Like, you're super talented and you got to be so driven to be where you're at right now. But how much do you appreciate the fact that you can connect to different people, whether it's through your singing, whether it was on Broadway, whether it is in big films? Because you're talking about different age groups. You're talking about different people from different environments. You know, you're covering the gamut as far as what you do because you're across so many different platforms.
Yeah. It feels good to have somebody who's,
young and old.
Yeah, young, old, whatever, come up to you
Yeah.
and be like, yo, like had this one guy that came up to me and was like, yo, man, I watch Hamilton when I'm like, just to unwind, just to, and then these little kids just walked up to me like,
Hell yeah.
like, yo, can we, get a pick and get a flick? It's just cool to, to know that your work is resonating with people of all ages, from different places.
So many different backgrounds.
You know what I'm saying? And that, as an artist, and I think as an athlete, I would think that that's what you hope, that people resonate with who you are as an athlete, as a performer, as and through the thing that you've been blessed to do. So that's why I'm really I just feel grateful, man. Honestly, that's literally it. I just feel grateful.
And you're a young dude. Hey, so what do you want the Jets to do here this offseason? We got to get back to the green and white. What do you want them to do this offseason? Because I've been hearing a lot of people been asking you about the quarterback position.
It is. I mean, that's and I know people whispering about Aaron Rodgers and this car, and then and I think there's a couple guys available. I know Garoppolo is might
be out there. Yeah,
could be an option. Lamar Jackson would be the dream. You just never know.
Right.
So I'm just throwing that out there, but I think him in New York, that would be crazy. But. I think I just think we need we just need that that weapon and I think Mike White is great I think but I just think it could be if we can get one of those guys that might be that's the start.
Jets are certainly close.
The Jets are close though, man, bro. I'm telling you, man. We're
Do you
close.
like Saleh?
I think Saleh's dope.
Yeah.
I love the way he moves, bro. Like he's so he's just. It just, at least from what I'm watching the show on YouTube, from what it seems, the team just really respects him, and it just seems like they want to follow him, and they really
He connects with people.
He connects with the team, bro, and and I don't know because I'm not on the team, right? I'm just a fan, but it seems that way, and just from watching the games this year and watching the way the team played, even in the games where the team struggled, you could just see you can see his poise. You can see he's still so enthusiastic on the sideline. You could just see his passion to win, bro. And again, I just think the team is like one or two pieces away from being from doing that, bro.
And you were talking about watching stuff on YouTube. You like Flight 2022 that the New York Jets great documentary team put together, huh?
Yeah, they killed that, bro. I think that I love the content, man. The content the team's putting together too, man. It really takes us inside, it takes us inside the, which I don't know if that has existed before.
It's definitely expanded
in this way. It's expanded for sure. So it's really cool that I get to see what's going on in the locker room. What are the conversations happening? And,
Well, we got to bring you out to the facility now. Now that we had an opportunity to talk to you, we got to bring you out to the facility.
I heard Garrett Wilson was walking around here.
Yeah,
he was just
there.
on one of the shows I was talking on just now. Right. He was like, "Yo, Garrett Wilson was here 5 minutes ago." I was like, "Oh."
Hey, man, we wish you the best. So proud of what you've been doing representing New York out there. And again, open invitation out of the facility, and we got to get you to sing the anthem at MetLife.
Word. Well, thanks for having me.